When it comes to the first mega rap label, Def Jam has to be the first label to pop up in your mind with superstars like LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, and the list goes on and on of legends on this iconic label. And the founders, Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin, talk about how it began, where it started, how they met, and also what Def Jam means to the culture. Check it out.
Russell and I met at a party. It was in a loft somewhere on the west side in the teens. I can't remember exactly. But I remember being really excited when I met him because as a fan of hip hop, he had already, his name was on a lot of the rap records that already came out. Curtis Blow and Run DMC. And I already had a rap record out called It's Yours.
And it was that record. I remember that I was commentating, illustrating, description giving, adjective experts, analyzing, summarizing, musical myth seekers, people of the universe, this is yours. And that was the record I heard on the radio. I flipped.
And when I met Russell, it turns out that It's Yours was his favorite record, which was a surprise to me.
Even though T-La Rock was the first artist of Def Jam, it was the young teenager from Farmers Boulevard was the one who created the pivotal change for Def Jam. Listen to it. Rick Rubin breaks it down. Check it out.
Well, I got a demo tape of an artist named Ladies Love Cool J, who was 16 years old, and I was listening to demos that were coming into the dorm room, and Adam Harvitz from the Beastie Boys played me LL Cool J, and we both laughed and loved it.
Rick Rubin explains why they laughed about it. Check it out.
It was funny. It was funny. I don't even remember if there was music. I think he might have been a cappella rhyming. He was just really, you could hear the youth in his voice, but he was really yelling and using, these big words. And it was just interesting. We hadn't heard anything like it, really. And it was good. So we called him, and he came and visited the dorm room, and we made his first single was called I Need a Beat, and we recorded I Need a Beat. And then I brought it over to Russell to play for him, and he said, well, we could give it to the independent labels that he dealt with. And I said, well, why don't we do it ourselves?
Well, I had a lot of experience, and I was going to start a record company called Rush Records.
He didn't want to do it at first, and I said, I'll make the records, and I'll do all the work, and you be my partner.
And the more I got to know Rick, the more I felt that my efforts should go into the partnership and not into a separate company. Because I already had Run DMC and Houdini and Jimmy Spicer and Curtis Blow and the Fields 4. I was managing a lot of acts. I had a lot.
I knew that if he was involved, it was a real label, whereas if I was doing it myself, it was a kid in a college dorm.
The first record, I Need a Beat, sold so well. And it was not the sales of the records, it was the sound of the records that inspired me to be his partner. He's a great producer, and I thought we could do a lot together.
By Def Jam being the elite rap label at the time, to be a Def Jam artist, you had to fit a certain criteria. And Russell Simmons, he breaks it down about the criteria with an example of the Beastie Boys. Check it out.
Well, early on, there was a fingerprint, not really subscribing to any mainstream kind of sounds or philosophies to try to brand the acts and letting them dress the way it made sense. I mean, taking what was honest from them and making it theatrical is real. Like they came and they were like, they wanted to be rappers, so they wore red shiny sweatsuits. So I thought that was, a little nutty for them. And since they had such an original sound, original ideas, that, they should dress, from their heart. And I think they did eventually, and then I think it's important that they did.
Now Russell and Rick talk about what made Def Jam work, what made it click, what made it be above the rest. This is how they break it down. Check it out.
I think it was really a label by and for the hip-hop community. In making it, we were really trying to make something just for ourselves, something that we would love. And the idea of anybody else liking it just seemed, didn't seem realistic. It was a real surprise that it ended up sort of breaking out and affecting people all over the place. Strange.
Authenticity sold Def Jam, and honesty. And I think that's what made rap such a stable footprint in culture, that it's so honest, like that's what poets have done throughout the ages, though, right? Tell you what you're thinking, and sometimes, put a capsule around where you live and your time you're experiencing. So you look back and say, damn, they told us what we was doing.